What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the FF Face-Off. I'm Anthony Servino, and I'm here to tell you why Ezekiel Elliott is a must-draft running back sleeper in fantasy football this season. I get it. The narrative on Ezekiel Elliott is that he's completely washed. Let's face it, since Zeke's rookie year in the NFL, his speed, his burst, his elusiveness has been going in the wrong direction. However, he's been more or less productive in fantasy football. In fact, although regressing, his ADP, his price point, is also regressing. 2020, the RB 14 in fantasy points per game. 2021, the RB 15 in fantasy points per game. And then last season, 2022, career worst, RB 22 in fantasy points per game, giving us 12.4 fantasy points per game in PPR scoring formats. What is important to note, that in 3 out of his past 4 seasons, Zeke has totaled at least 12 touchdowns, including 12 touchdowns in back-to-back campaigns. Ezekiel Elliott now with the New England Patriots, and we know the Patriots want to run the football. Now let's take a look at the Patriots' backfield. They move off Damian Harris in the offseason, who was the killer, the thorn, the vulture to Ramondre Stevenson's touchdown upside. However, not only do they bring in Zeke, they also trade Pierre Strong, who was a superior pass catcher out of the backfield. We haven't seen a lot out of Strong, but his skill set suggests he would thrive in that category. They also cut Ty Montgomery and Kevin Harris. So as we stand, you have Ramondre Stevenson as a top back. You have Zeke as a complementary back, but I believe Zeke is going to be more involved than you may think. I know Ramondre can catch the ball out of the backfield, but let's not forget Ezekiel Elliott can too. On his resume, he has a season with 77 receptions, 54, 52, 47, 17 last year, but Dallas didn't exactly target Tony Pollard. It was more of a product of the Kellen Moore offense than Zeke not being involved in the passing game. So Zeke can do a lot of the things Ramondre Stevenson can do. Now, where Zeke is superior to Ramondre Stevenson is on the goal line. In fact, Zeke on the goal line, Zeke in short yardage situations, that's what he does best. Not only for his entire career, but at this point of his career, Zeke is a goal line monster. Last season, Ramondre Stevenson had 32 carries inside the red zone. However, he only scored 3 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Ezekiel Elliott had 39 carries inside the red zone and scored 12 touchdowns. So we know this is what Zeke does best. And going back 2 years ago, Damian Harris popped for over 15 touchdowns. And then last year, he would have had a better touchdown scoring season if he wasn't hurt. We also know Ramondre Stevenson regressed as the season went on. He popped early in the campaign, but he started to wear down. In fact, going to the last 5 games of the year, week 14 to 18, that's fantasy playoff territory. Ramondre Stevenson only had 2 games with double-digit PPR points. He also had 3 games in the single digits. That is not what you want in the fantasy playoffs. And I get it. Ezekiel Elliott isn't going to give you those big pop games anymore, but can he do a lot of the things Ramondre can do? Can Zeke score double-digit touchdowns in this offense? This is an offense where Ramondre Stevenson only had 6 total touchdowns, and this was a guy who had 210 rushing attempts and 69 receptions, only managed 6. Meanwhile, Zeke, I said it, 12 touchdowns plus in 3 of his past 4 seasons, including 2 straight. Ramondre Stevenson, ADP, 33.4. Ezekiel Elliott, ADP, 133 at the FFPC. That's 100 pick differential between these two players. If you ask me, you're going to fade Ramondre Stevenson and you're going to draft Ezekiel Elliott because Ezekiel Elliott is a slam dunk to return immense value on his price point. Take advantage of the people who think Zeke is done. He may be washed, but he's not done. 133 ADP, Zeke has a realistic shot to finish as a top 24 running back, an RB2 in fantasy points per game once again.